Welcome guys, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be about equipment today. So if you're not interested in photography equipment, then I understand, if you give this video a miss. I'll be back to shooting videos about wildlife photography, lots of pictures and footage and stuff like that next week. But I've got a bit of a decision. It's not a really imminent decision, but I've got a decision nonetheless. I've been a Nikon user for, I don't know, probably over 30 years. And I'm at that stage where I'm just beginning to think, should I switch from Nikon to Sony or Canon? And I'll tell you why. At the moment, I've got a Nikon D500 DSLR, which I use for wildlife photography. I've got an aging Nikon D800, which is a fantastic camera, which I use for landscape photography. And then I've got my Nikon Z6 II mirrorless camera, which I use for wildlife stills and lots of wildlife filming. And I talked a load on this channel about switching to a mirrorless camera body for mainly wildlife action filmmaking. And I'm really happy with the Z6 II. It's a great camera, it's got brilliant video, it's good noise control, and it's solidly built. It's a great package. Image quality is fantastic. The only thing is, now I'm at the stage where I haven't got any Nikon Z mount lenses. I'm using my old F mount lenses, and I'm using the F to Z adapter, and they work great, so it's not a problem. But at some stage in the nearish future, I'll be thinking about Z lenses, and I'm also at the stage where I'm wondering whether I should stick with Nikon, because as it stands, the only Nikon camera body that's got bird eye detect is the Nikon Z9. And I really want bird eye detect. It's one of those, I think, almost game-changing pieces of technology. Now, it's not going to work in every situation, but I've taught people with the, because I run lots of photography courses, as you probably know already if you watch my channel. I've taught people using that use the Canon R5, the R6, the Sonys, and also the Nikon Z9. And the bird eye detect, it doesn't work every single time. It's not 100% reliable, but it's very, very good, and that's something I would like. So as it stands, the Nikon's only camera body that's got bird eye detect is the Z9, and that's £5,300. And looking at what they've got coming through the pipeline, it doesn't look like that technology is going to be in a mid-range or a mid-price camera body anytime soon. There's rumours of a Z8 that's going to be a huge megapixel camera, maybe not as suited to wildlife photography as studio or landscape photography. And there's no, I don't see what, if there's I can't see a mid-range body maybe for £2,000 or £3,000 coming through in the near future on the Nikon Z series. And to be honest, the only reason I would think about changing is for the action photography side of things, because my Z6 II, image quality, as I say, is great, noise control's great, build quality is great, everything works well. It's the same with the the Z7 II, sorry. So if I was just a landscape photographer, and I do landscapes and wildlife, then it wouldn't be an issue. But I do think the bird eye detect is really important if you're a wildlife photographer. So it makes sense, to be honest, before I start buying lots of different Z lenses, to decide whether I'm going to make the jump. And both Sony and Canon have got mid-range camera bodies that have got animal, certainly bird eye detect, and it makes you wonder, should I make the change? Now, I'm not going to jump really quickly. I'm going to give it a few months, but I'm really seriously thinking about, should I change? And it's going to be quite a wrench, I've been a Nikon user for 30 years, so I don't really want to change. I like the way the menus are set out, I like the build quality, I like the lenses, everything I like about the Nikon system over the last 30 years is still there, except for this autofocus. And as I say, if it wasn't for the fact I do wildlife as well as landscapes, it wouldn't be an issue, but I do, and I want bird eye detect. So I could go for the Canon R6, 24 or 21 million pixels, something like that. It's around about £2,500, and it's a very, very good camera. Bird eye detect, it works. I've taught people with the R6. R5 is £3,500, so it's a bit more expensive, but still way cheaper than the Z9. And then Sony A7 Mark IV, that's also got bird eye detect. Now, they've all got slight differences. The A7R4 was only 10 frames a second, but that's enough. My D500 is only 10 frames a second, so that's okay. The Canons are around about 20 frames a second, so that's faster than my Z6 II anyway. So yeah, it's one of those decisions really. So I'm going to seriously consider whether I need to switch from Nikon to Sony or Canon, and then it's a case of looking at which body or which manufacturer would be best for me. I do think the Canons are great because they also do the R7 now, which is a crop censored camera body for about £1,400, and that would make a great backup body. Because the fact of the matter is, even if I bought a Z9, I'd still want a backup body, and if I wanted two bodies that had bird eye detect, I'd need two Z9s. So that's getting on for £10,500, and that's, you know, to be honest, I think just too much. I don't want to spend over 10 grand on two camera bodies. So yeah, that's my dilemma, and I'm going to think about it over the next few months, but I may well be switching. So, you know, it's like thinking the unthinkable, isn't it? So, you know, I know this is a bit of a talking, just a bit of a talking shop about equipment, and if you're not into kit, then obviously I understand if you don't find this video interesting. But if you have found it interesting, I'd be really interested to get your thoughts on the matter. So if you've got any comments about whether I should switch from Nikon to Canon or Sony, whether you think I should stick with Nikon and just hope they're going to start bringing out mid-range bodies with bird eye detect in the near future, or any thoughts you've got if you're a Canon or a Sony user, thoughts on those camera bodies in particular, let me know in the comments section below. I'd really be interested. So yeah, it's a short video, no pictures of wildlife this week, but there will be next week. But I hope you find this discussion useful if you're thinking about, you know, what camera system to go for at the moment. And if I was starting off with no lenses and I wanted to do wildlife and action photography, I hate to say it, but I probably wouldn't be picking Nikon at the moment. I'd probably go for Canon or Sony because they've got reasonable price bodies with bird eye detect. So, you know, that's my thoughts at the moment. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Oh, if you have enjoyed it, if you can give it a thumbs up and a like, that always helps my channel. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, if you can consider subscribing, that would be great. So bye for now guys, I will speak to you on my next video.